All right.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Straight Talking with Kelly, where real conversations happen. This is where you'll meet some of the most intelligent, talented, and creative people who come to share tips, resources, and knowledge on various topics. My guests come from a multitude of industries: music, education, culinary arts, hospitality, mental health and wellness, and so much more. Today is episode number 23, and I have with me the acclaimed New Orleans musical artist, Ben E. Hunter. Welcome, Ben.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yes. And so before I get into our conversation where Ben's going to talk about resilience, mental toughness, and his new album, Soul Avenger. But before I do that, I want to get a little bit of background on Ben. And so I'm going to read you a little bit about his bio, and we'll get started. Ben was born and raised in New Orleans' richest musical communities. He showcases original songs that explore the city through his lived experiences. His unique New Orleans Afro-Caribbean folk music intimately combines the closely related musical histories of reggae, Black masking Indian chants, and West African beats. This profound sound inspires a new musical truth. I cannot wait to get into this conversation because all of these different things and how New Orleans plays such a big picture in connecting reggae and this Caribbean. I cannot wait. So Ben, tell me a little bit more about your background being raised. I think you were born and raised in the 7th Ward, if I'm not correct.
Yes. I was born in the richest musical community in New Orleans, and also one of the oldest Black communities in the country. It's Treme, and we moved from Treme right over, not even a mile, over to the 7th Ward, and that's why I did most of my growing up. And I would go back and forth, because the way our city is, we don't. Mostly we don't just stay in one area, we go all over the city. Definitely.
So now, how did you get involved in music, and how old were you when you first got involved?
Oh, that's interesting. Growing up in a musical city like this, you would think that I may have played music in high school or anytime for that matter. But no, I was an athlete. I played football, high school, college, and a little pro. And it was only until later on in my life that I had realized that New Orleans played such an integral role in reggae music, hearing it from the legends, Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, and such, talking about how they were able to receive radio transmissions from New Orleans during the 40s, 50s, and 60s. And I looked around and was knowing New Orleans artists, creating or bringing this sound to light, our connection with Jamaica. So it started my journey from that point. I bought a guitar, learned some chords, and then this music just evolved. You know what I'm saying?
How old were you around that time?
Oh, I was well into my 20s. I was like maybe like 25 or something. I've got with some of my local friends here, and they had an idea about doing music, and like I said, it came so easy to me in the sense that writing songs and expressing, being a truth teller, having the energy to like bring across this truth through my personal experiences, and having that voice. We all today we hear about, it's fake news or whatever. Well, the news has always been fake, and the only truth it comes from the artist. And I take my lead from one of the great female artists of our time. And she has a quote says that.
Wait a minute. First, you got to tell me who is this artist?
her my God, I can't, my brain is kind of foggy right now, but Simone, not Simone. Um, I see her face. Oh my God, it's crazy.
That's okay. You know what? Just keep talking. It'll come back to you before we end up.
I'm gonna get
Yeah,
her.
it'll come back.
But she has a point when she says that an artist's responsibility is to project the times that they're living in, you know, and that was my whole thing with being able to bring this music across in reggae, you know, because reggae speaks on those topics of, you know, social, economic, spiritual, and all the like to bring these truths to light, you know. So
It's about uplifting people too.
it's definitely about
It definitely uplifts. And then the beat, oh my God, we won't even talk about what the beat do. You cannot listen to it and not move, okay?
Right. And it goes back to New Orleans, you know, it was coming across in waves to Jamaica, and they heard artists like Fats Domino, Big Dave Bartholomew, and the like, and they kind of copied those styles. And I know this musical, this Jamaican music historian. He said that they were trying to capture New Orleans jazz with the African Nyabinghi drum and bring those two elements together to make what the sound is today in reggae, you know. So it was amazing.
Absolutely amazing. Now, it is my understanding that you were in Hurricane Katrina and Ida. You're a survivor.
Oh,
and
no,
so,
without question. I mean, you know, people ask about, you know, why do you stay in New Orleans or why do you leave or whatever. But the thing is, we live on a living planet. So, I mean, it is what it is. Everywhere where humans exist, there's some type of natural phenomenon that is a part of their existence. So me being in New Orleans, and I mean, from Hurricane Bessie when I was a child to Katrina and to Ida, I'll say this: Ida was the most the strongest hurricane that I've witnessed in New Orleans as far as
stronger than Katrina.
Katrina, the problem with Katrina was that they breached the levees. They breached the Ninth Ward levees. They blew uptown and the 17th Street Canal, and that which destroyed the city was the flooding of the of those different neighborhoods. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I was doing before the situation last year. I was doing an Airbnb tour, a singing tour. What I would take clients from the 7th Ward all the way to the lower 9th Ward, and we would talk upon those different situations that happened, especially during Katrina, and you know, me growing up in New Orleans and all the effects of, you know, I mean, we get to the reality of the situation for sure.
Yeah. So now that's where that resilience come in and that toughness. I mean, because seeing all of that kind of devastation. Now, did you write any songs that mirrored that, or?
Oh, that's when I started the concept with storytelling with New Orleans Afro-Caribbean Folk. My first album after Katrina that I did was all acoustic, and the album was about my experience. It was I call it my healing album for the city. It was a healing album for me too, because being in the midst of that whole event and seeing it from ground zero, and then hearing stories from outside of people who only get their information from what they saw on the news or whatever perspectives that they had given them, I wanted to bring it clear about what was happening and from my perspective. So that's when it started, you know, what I did with Traveler. That was the name of the album, The Traveler. And then I backed it up with the nature of things, you know, my pops passed in 2012, and just to have that kind of experience and seeing, you know, life and death on this plane of existence that is And that we are so connected to nature that we don't even realize, because all the things that surround us and what we think is important in life, but not knowing that deep connection that we have with the nature and earth,
So as I'm listening to you say that, then it makes me think about the Indian chant stuff that you do, because, they know how to appreciate the land. Man,
Oh, yeah.
we really need them right now to really help us save the land.
For real.
So talk to me about what that is, what that's all about, because I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, the New Orleans Masking Indians are we've been doing this for hundreds of years, basically. They were aligned with the natives. And what people don't also realize that when you think about Blacks and America, the first thing you come to your mind is like slavery. We came over here on slave boats, but that's not the fact. We had been on this land. We had been in this region thousands of years. From our ancestors left it in stone. That's why you have that statement who says etched in stone, is because our ancestors left it in stone. Is evident when you look at the Olmecs of the Mexican era, and also all the way up to the Mississippi and the mounds that we have here in Louisiana, and antiquity is the key in knowing what these facts are, because they have been covered with a whole different ideas and concepts that man has put before us that is not really set in fact,
Well, and that's designed by purpose. Yes. Because we're not supposed to know how great we really are. So history has been masked. But the beauty now, thanks to Google and all this other stuff, we're able to uncover. And then we got people like you and other people out there wanting to know more and wanting to educate us more about who we are and what we have really done, and why the United States of America is also ours too.
That's what I question. And, and my queen sister just came back to me. Nina Simone is
okay. I was, you know what? And now I was actually thinking, I said, I wonder, is he talking about Nina Simone? And I didn't want to say it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I was transferring, and she just came to me like Nina Simone. I said, "Oh my God, is it? That's true." When I saw her make that statement, I was just, it's like confirmation, for me as an artist, because I see myself more of an alchemist, more so than a musician in this sense. I use the music to bring and convey this truth. I grew up in a city with, great musicians, world internationally known, right from the hood, some, out the street, and, our guy, Louis Armstrong, and that whole story with that. So we have a certain connection to our ancient knowledge, whether people can perceive it or not. But I came to understand that New Orleans is on the same latitude as Cairo, Egypt. Wow. Hence, we have the Crescent City, the Fertile Crescent, the Nile River, the Mississippi. And you go in Cairo, you go north of Cairo on the Nile River, and you find the city of Memphis. You go north of New Orleans on the river, and you find the city of Memphis. That's how real this thing is. You know what I'm saying?
So, hearing you say that, then it makes me actually kind of go back to Katrina and think about how many of our people got misplaced and how they, had to move out. And it's like, was that by design? What? Anyways, that's a whole nother story. But you see where I'm going with that?
It's our question.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
just makes you wonder. Gentrification is happening everywhere,
Mhm.
and we got to figure out how to stop this stuff. So it's nice to see that some people are staying in New Orleans, because if everybody moves out, because like I'm in San Francisco, and the majority of our African American people have moved out. I think we're at 3% now, and
Okay.
it might even be lower than that.
Well, it's the same. You're right. It's the same all over the country, and it's been going on. I mean, for years. This is not nothing really new, but they can have certain events as Katrina and use that to make those changes a reality
Yeah,
for them. You know
absolutely.
what I'm saying?
Easy, real
And
easy.
it's my question. Yeah, it's my question. So,
Rents
and,
go
and
up, property goes up, everything starts costing more. Yeah.
yes, and for me, I grew up in Trinity. I grew up in the Seventh Ward, and I live in the Seventh Ward. I live in my neighborhood that I grew up in. The house that I have that we live in today, we weren't allowed to even go inside the house. Okay, and we're not talking. I'm not talking about black and white. I'm talking about black and black, dark skin black, light skin black. You
No
know what I'm
way. You've got to be kidding me. Oh,
No,
you know
baby.
what?
No, I'm giving you the real. Cause look,
That
again,
is, you know what? To me, that's more scarier than anything else.
and that's been my experience. I tell people, I tell everybody, I tell anybody, I had more conflict with my own here in this city growing up than I ever had with any whites. You know what I'm saying? Or any time in my life, even my travels for sure. And I think that it's a mindset for one. If how the sayings goes, how a man thinketh he is.
Yes. As a man
So
thinketh, so is he. Yes.
okay. So if you think he is the one who always getting abused, or he think he's the target on my back or whatever, that's what you will be.
Absolutely.
you know.
Absolutely.
So
People don't
I
realize
know
the
about that.
power of the mind and your thoughts.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
it's very powerful. And again,
Absolutely.
we used to have this thing when we were young. We used to talk about, I got your mind. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah, and be like, well, you got my mind. You got, yeah,
Yeah, you don't want nobody to have that.
So that's the thing. You have to have your mind, or someone else will.
Oh,
You
baby.
know,
Say it again. Say it again.
especially today.
Yes. Oh,
And
yeah.
look,
Oh,
I go back. I go back to my great grandmother, who was 104. When she left, never owned a car, never went to school, but the smartest woman I knew. She
yes.
had a saying: "Believe half of what you see, none of what you hear."
Okay. Now, who did a song like that? Somebody's got a song. Was it Marvin Gaye? I heard it through the grapevine.
Maybe her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Remember, I think there's a
yeah,
line in there that says that. Yeah, oh, yeah.
yeah. That's look, and I take that to heart, and that's been my mantra my whole existence. So
Yeah.
I'm down.
It's time for us to really start waking up
Oh, look,
in a
long time,
major
long
way.
time,
And
long time,
but
long time.
now more so than ever,
Yes.
because we're in dangerous grounds when the president can actually say the election was stolen. Really? And got people, wait a minute, and got thousands of people, millions, mind you, saying it was. It's like, really? Okay.
Well, let me say this here. Dick Gregory ran for president. He ran for president in '68.
I don't remember
Dick
that. Okay.
Gregory.
And
Oh
I
yeah,
love Dick
yeah.
Gregory, but I don't remember that. Okay.
You have to Google his story on stolen elections. From 1968 down, and I don't deal with the politics or anything of such. I deal with reality. I was 5 years old when they killed Kennedy, and I knew something was up at 5 years old, and I ran away from home. I had my whole neighbors looking for me and my friend. I went for like hours, and my mom said she had
Why
to
did you
find
run
me.
away? Why did you run away? Because Kennedy got shot?
Yes, and I saw the reaction of my moms and my people
Oh,
around
okay.
me, and I couldn't put together why did they have to kind of reaction to somebody they didn't really know. You know, I mean, I was 5 years old. I'm just like
Right.
going that 5 years. But I had something in my spirit saying there's more to be going on than what's really to be seen here. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that's where I've been at it with it. You know, so I don't take no sides. You know, I observe. I use my own power to define. I say the average American. How many people you know have a library in their house? You know,
I do.
I mean, okay, besides yourself.
Well, you know what? Most of the people that I know have libraries because they are readers.
Well, that's
Yeah.
great. That's
Yeah.
great. But
And see, I'm a teacher. I also am a teacher.
well,
So
that's even better. Yeah, you know.
yeah, so I believe in the books. Okay. I mean,
Mhm.
I have more books than I have anything else in my house.
And that's important, man. You have to be able to do your own research. You have to be able to come to your own conclusions about what is.
Yeah.
If not, somebody else will come with them for you.
There goes that mind thing. So now tell me this. Through your
uh,
latest Afro-Caribbean folk album, Soul Avenger, you
yes,
seek to inspire and heal people from trauma. Can you
yes.
talk about your new album and then elaborate on how it's helping with trauma?
Soul Avenger, in the name and title itself, is to bring this reality and to wake people up from their core. You know, see in my song, we talk about uh, what's really happening. You know, what real time we're living in. You know, and once people get to the core of the truth, they say truth is an offense, but it's not a sin. Some people they want to hear the truth. Some people run away from the truth because they have to look themselves in the mirror and see that reality, you know. So with this album, Soul Avenger is to from social, spiritual, and even love. It's all a part of this whole existence, you know. We need love and truth in this time. More so than anything, you can't be worried about what they're doing or what's going on in that sense. You have to focus on that love and that truth to help, you know, strengthen you. And then you can pass it on to others. It's just like having, you know, this little spark of fire, and it can set it off and the whole forest be burning, you know. So you have to have that truth, you know what I'm saying? And in the day, you know, with music today, you have so much music that is so negative, and you have to have a balance because I don't down anybody how they want to have an expression about whatever, but there needs to be a balance,
Now, so
and
tell me
that's what I
this.
do. Mhm.
So you wrote the majority of the music on the album. Who are some of the other artists involved with you?
What as far as musicians, there were the producers Brian and Wayne Jobson, the Jobson brothers, with Neil Case. Neil Case pretty much did the magic with the engineering and the mixing and the editing. We went down to Jamaica at Jack Ruby's studio, and which is like is you know it's like the Mecca, one of the Mecca recording studios in Jamaica. He has a history that's unlike any other. And to go inside there and collect all those energies that had passed through there years earlier before, and to work with these fine Jamaican professional musicians to be able to express this truth and that connection historically that we had with Jamaica. They understood that, and they were able to bring it across in this magnificent piece of
You know,
work.
And this is what I was going to say to you too. So Soul Avenger is a visionary, rhythmic driven, and poetic celebration of two idioms, New Orleans Afro-American roots and Jamaican roots. How did that fusion occur?
Again, it was so cosmic, you know what I'm saying? And when they asked me, Brian and Ron, to send in some songs, I think I sent them about 40 songs or something, just on acoustic. So, and again, with their understanding of our connection, they chose the songs that were perfect for this project of my, of my songs, So we got down there and it just like was magic. It was no rehearsal. We went to the studio, we laid the tracks down. Like 4 days we did the album. The album was complete in like 4 days.
Wow. Wow.
But not the editing and that was stuff like that. I'm just talking about the basic elements, drum, bass, guitars, vocals. It was amazing. Susan Cowell, she did all the background work, and bless her soul, she has passed on. And we had again, these folks knew how to bring it across.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you are known for socially conscious music. Some tracks on the album were inspired by local headlines like Genevieve. What is that song about? What is that about?
Well, Genevieve is a song about Genevieve Sharp. She worked in the city's tax office here in New Orleans. And she found out that there were folks who weren't paying taxes, and first brought it to local, of the state senator, and she brought it to Judith Watts, was the state senator at the time, and she brought it to the media. And when that happened, Genevieve was found assassinated in her home, like on a Sunday morning. Her daughter said she had passed the house and saw this unknown car in her driveway, but she thought maybe it was Sunday, they was going to church or something like that. And she just kept going. And then when she came back to find her mother had been basically assassinated in the house, So that song was inspired by her courageousness, for even to bring it out, because this is a microcosm, a macrocosm. You think about, city government, state, federal, international, it all has that same type of elements in it. You know what I mean? People are what they call them, truth tellers or whatever. They'll come out to the public and tell them what's really going on, and they'll be, having that type of situation happen. So I did that song in honor of her. And when I say who killed Genevieve, we still want to know who killed Genevieve.
Oh, so it's like an unsolved, it's a cold case?
It's a cold case to date.
Wow. So now you, what has it been like with the COVID lockdown? Did that interfere with your touring or anything like that?
Oh, well, if it interfered with everybody.
Well, yeah, oh, absolutely. So during that time, is that when you start working on the album?
The album pretty much had been in the works for some time, for sure, but during the lockdown, me and my wife and the daughters, we just, continued on our lives pretty much, you know what I mean? We sat, we meditated, we researched, we went around the city, we walked around the city, me and my wife, because I have to be sure that what's being said is the reality, and I had to prove to her also, because, a lot of times people get so caught up on the media and the circus that they create that they get really lost in what's really true. So that's what we did. We also, I mean, we went camping. We went from North Carolina to Colorado, Mexico. We just traveled pretty much, you know what I mean? To get some sense of normalcy when everyone else are so in their minds, are paranoid and fear and all the whole thing, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's what we did. We just kept it going, you know. And for me, my 80-year-old mom in December 2019 had came down with that, hospitalized. Oh, wow. And she's still here today. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So I look at it as such that, you know, hey, I mean, if she came through with it, and my mom is not like, I won't say super healthy in a sense, you know what I mean? She's on medication and such. Right. She's got 4 shunts in her, you know, from years. And she came through, you know, so.
That's a blessing. She was blessed.
A blessing. You know, that's definitely a blessing. That's what I'm saying. So, and so when they brought it to the public, I was totally aware of, you know, that situation for sure with my mom, and knowing that this is an ongoing thing. It's been going on. It's not just happened when they said it happened. It's been happening. You know what I'm saying?
I think it happened sooner than what they had thought too.
Oh no, they knew exactly. They know.
Now tell me this: what has been your most memorable project?
Well, for sure, this project here is what I
was. The Soul Avenger. Soul Avenger.
Soul Avenger is the pinnacle of my musical expression. You know, because I was able to bring those elements together. It's historic, this project, because there's no other artists in New Orleans have ever dwelled in this area, and to have that platform and to being able to talk about my experiences through my music, you know, like my first single, we say, The Big Easy. We did a video. If anybody wanted to take a little trip to New Orleans and never been here, you watch my video, you'll get some idea of the colorful city that we live in, and also the despair, also intertwined with party and intertwined with resilience and intertwined with creativity. All of those elements are there, you know. So, and in the song, I basically say, half the youths that played with me are now playing the penitentiary. And this is a fact. I had 2 brothers who lived across the street from me. They were adopted. They both were abused by Catholic priests. Oh, wow. One, the older one, had started robbing and assassinated a grocery store owner in the quarters. He got life. The other brother went back and killed his abuser. And that made like national headlines, you know. So when I say that in my song, this is what and who I am speaking on, you know, this kind of reality that has to be brought forth, you know, especially now when you hear about the Catholic Church and what they've been doing and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's a reality for me, you know, like everything that I sing about, I've experienced it, you know, or knew someone who experienced it. So and that's how we do it.
What are some of the other titles on your album?
Oh, we have Jet Black Love. Now, in that song, what I'm speaking on is melanin, you know, that energy. You know?
Okay.
And it comes across like a love song. That's what it is. You know, it's a love song. And for that particular song, I did have that in mind, you know. So in my other songs, like I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be here once more. You know what I'm saying?
Nice title. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that like waking up, being grateful to wake up every morning?
Grateful to be here. Wake up and see this truth and see this light and look and to be able to carry that torch. Glad to be here. You know, definitely. Mm-hmm.
It sounds like a really, really interesting album. Now,
Yeah.
do you have any touring plans
Well,
in the
this
works?
album, yeah, this one, I'm planning on 2022 to come
Okay.
and tour for this project. But
Okay.
my acoustic, um, in the New Orleans Afro-Caribbean Folk, I do courtyard concerts here in my courtyard. I have an Airbnb downstairs that we have guests who come by, or they can book me on Airbnb that you can come here and I can give you that experience. New Orleans Afro-Caribbean Folk, and I can sing stories about New Orleans and the things that goes on here, you know.
I'm sure. It's like a soap opera, no doubt.
Oh, it's without question. A
Okay.
reality.
So now, what's your best advice to the new generation of music artists?
Well, I'll say that, speak to the times we're living in. Let's be real, so that those who you inspire can have that mindset, and be more aware that they won't fall into different traps that's being set for folks to fall in, So that's more important, and educate yourself in these truths, and look to others to be inspired by, look for the ones who came before us, who gave us our history and science and knowledge, and use that as a tool for your creativity also.
Now, that's so funny that you said that, because my next question to you is, I want you to name 3 people that have inspired you.
Oh, I tell you what, for sure, Dr. Ben Yohanan. Dr. Ben, it was years ago. My mindset has been like this forever, and I would talk to my friends and associates or whatever. And a friend came up to me, man, you ever heard of Dr. Ben? He at the time, it was like in the 80s, he came down here to speak at the Black Female Social Workers Convention. And the dude had recorded his whole speech, you know what I'm saying? And he opened up with, he said, heaven is between a Black woman's legs. And everybody was just like, fell out, right? And then he went on to explain it, how when he went to Dendara in Egypt, and on the ceiling of the roof was the goddess Nut, where she had the whole constellation starting from her breast to her vagina. And this was like, it was astounding, for him to say that and to have that proof and make that correlation. So Dr. Ben has been one of my, because my name is Ben too.
Okay.
He's one of my, and also I gotta say Dick Gregory for sure, and Dr. Sabi, those 3 for sure. But and many others without question, but those 3.
Sure, but I always just say 3 because I know there's always more,
Right,
so
right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I think that's awesome. Okay, so we're getting ready to kind of close out, but before we do, I would like to ask you, what would the 9-year-old Ben say to the grown-up Ben now?
Oh wow, what the 9-year-old would say? Oh, you made it. You had an experience for sure, you know what I mean? I could think about some things, but yeah, that's for sure. You made it, you made it to this point, and what the future will be. The future is now. That's what we're doing,
Okay. So now, is there anything you would like to say to the listening audience?
Well, again, we have to realize that we are organic biological entities in an organic biological recycling environment. This is the truth. You know, we have to connect with nature. We have to connect to the universal thought. Unplug yourself from this mundane reality. Once you connect to the universal thought, these truths will come down like the downloads on your computer because we got that connection. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have some downloads that you have to see what am I really hearing this? And then you're gonna find yourself coming into someone or something that's gonna confirm that reality, once those downloads have come.
That's beautiful. Now, how, if the audience wants to be in touch with you, how can they reach you?
BenEHunter.com, baby. You can come there. You can book me for a personal concert, or if you just want to just talk on some esoteric cosmic realities. I got it. We can do it, but it's BenEHunter.com. Go into my website, see me, and check my video out, The Big Easy, if you want to know how it goes.
All right. That's beautiful. So I would like to say, Ben, thank you for taking out the time to be my guest on Straight Talking with Kelly, where real conversations happen. And to my listening audience, thank you so much for being here. So, Ben, we definitely have to have you back when you are
anytime
getting ready to do your touring, okay?
All right.
In the new year.
Okay, baby. Take care.